All right. Good morning, everybody. You diggly dog devils, you getting up and ready to roll. You builders of America, you engines of production. How's everybody doing today? Good morning. Good morning. This is Middle Class Bubba, the live stream for you hard-working construction professionals. I don't care if you push a broom or if you're a CEO, I consider you a professional. And I know that you act that way every day on the job. We're glad if you come by, stop by. I don't see anybody on here yet. Perhaps somebody will pop in and give me a word of encouragement and enjoy the live stream. I've done a bunch of these. I don't remember how many I've done already with no participants, but we're going to keep doing it. You know why? Because I need the practice to get better, and so do you. Every day you go to work, your job is to get better at what you do. Hope everybody had a wonderful 4th of July. I bet it's hard to get back going today. I know it was hard for me to roll out of bed this morning about 3:30 to get down in the office and get all this stuff fired up to be with you this morning. But man, I think I'm going to enjoy this, and I hope some of you eventually roll in and say good morning to me in the morning as well. It's a welcome to the grind, boys and girls. I hope you got that first cup of coffee in and getting ready to roll. Word of the week, the things we have to do, it takes a great deal of discipline. A disciplined mind is something that we all need to practice at every day. Y'all excuse me, I'm getting a little warm. I'm going to go over here and turn on my fan. Let me go get cooled down a little bit. I'm sitting in here with all these lights and computers, and it's starting to get warm here in the office. Give me just a second. All right. I don't know what I'd do if I didn't have something that I forgot to do every morning, whether I'm running on the right channel or got the right logos up on the screens and got the sound going or multiple sounds. It's still a challenge for me, but I get up and do it every morning. Tough, man. After that 4th of July weekend, I saw something on the darn. I was laying there in the bed. I think it was Saturday morning, and somebody sent me a message on the Facebook, and I got scrolling that old Facebook. I try to avoid that, by the way. You get caught up in that, you'll spend hours doing it, and it's a waste. Anyway, I'm laying there, and man, there was so many people whining and complaining about how much the fireworks were going off that night and all this stuff. And I said, and somebody said something about having a time limit on the fireworks. And I'm thinking to myself, and I'm going to share that with you. I didn't share it on post. Well, I might have. I said, since when did celebrating independence and being an American have a time limit on it? I just couldn't understand that. And I know that my audience, man, I know that there's people out there who are living under the line, looking under the radar, trying to keep the money flowing and and have fears, and I understand that. And listen, you ought to at least be patriotic. You're here and producing an income. You must be a benefit to you, or else guess what? You wouldn't be here, would you? So I think everybody ought to be grateful for the opportunity they have based on what this country provided. And when I review the times back, there's 56 men in the year 1776 gathered in the Independence Hall in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and they pledged their life, liberty, and property. They put it on the line. They signed the document. They was ready to go, and now we have this wonderful country that we live in today. And anybody who's in this country, anybody who's born in this country, ought to have a little bit of self-pride about where they're at and the blessings that they have. So that is my opinion on the 4th of July. Now, I didn't do much of the celebrating. I didn't go to the fireworks. Man, I'm gotten to an age where I don't really need that. I understand people want to get out and be with other people and enjoy the camaraderie and all that stuff, but I use it as a time of reflection because in my younger years, I did all that stuff, and now that I've gotten a little older, I realize that I've been truly blessed. Whether I live another day or another decade, I'm going to make every day the day that a day that I can be grateful for. So what's the word of the week? Word of the week. Since we're talking about pride and being here in America, pride of being an American, I would say pride in the process. Let's continue that pride. And I know you're driving and you're trying to get to your cruise and you're trying to get to the shop and pick up tools, pick up material at the Home Depot, get your cruise organized, get to the job site, go through all the necessary, some people call it rigmarole. I call it processes, toolbox safety topic, doing the JHA, equipment inspections, and then finally we get to go to the work of building. And I think we should take pride in those processes. Yeah, it's a hectic time of the day, especially on Monday morning. That's why I get out here, because everybody's rubbing the weekend out of their eyes. And let's get ourselves motivated and know that what we're doing is important work. I don't care, like I said before, I don't care if you're pushing a wheelbarrow or digging a ditch or you're a crane operator, heavy equipment operator, or project manager, project supervisor. If you're a foreman, it doesn't matter what level you're at. You should take pride in the work that you do, and it should be reflected in the results. Believe me, the more pride you have in yourself, the higher your results will be, the higher standard your results will achieve. And people will recognize that about you, and with that comes additional opportunities. So stay strong. Stay out there, stay with it. Don't worry about what other people think. Now, I'm not saying don't take guidance from someone who's offering you a shortcut or someone who's offering you a safer way, more efficient way to do what you're doing. Be open-minded at all times. But take pride in what you do, knowing that what you're doing is important work for someone, somebody. And it should be particularly you taking pride in your work. You know what? I'm sitting here looking at stuff, and I'm just looking at my studio setup. But anyway, take pride in your work. Heck, man, it'll take you a long way down the road being successful in your long-term life. Now, I don't care if you're 20 something, especially if you're 20 something. If you're 30 and you're 40 and you're 50, it ain't ever too late to get out there and be prideful of your work. You 50-year-olds, you get out there and you show these 20-year-olds how to do it right. Guide them, lead them, influence them, encourage them, do all those things out there to uh, get people motivated and moving in the right direction. Uh, and that kind of leads me to the next thing as a safety topic. This past week, Friday, I put out a toolbox topic video. It's at Middleclassbubba on YouTube, and the safety topic I covered was your body language on the work zone and hand signals. And you got to remember, when we're on a job site, there's a lot of activity going on. There's equipment running. I'm sorry. There's equipment running. There's backup alarms going. There's cement trucks on site. There's guys doing rebar work. There's metal clanging around. There's torches going. There's track hose. There's all kinds of noise. And sometimes people don't hear you say stop. But they're watching now. Everybody's watching. Most safety. So make sure that when you move on a job site, you're moving in a how do you call it, a fashion in which that you show confidence. Don't be running on a job site. People will perceive that as an emergency, and when you've got 15, 20 people looking around and they see somebody running around, all of a sudden they get an impression that there's an emergency, and you're distracting them from their work that they're doing. So don't run on a job site. That's what I'm talking about. Body language. Make sure you move with confidence and precision. Don't be stumbling around, falling around. Make sure you've checked your path where you're going to walk. Know where the equipment is operating at. Understand that these guys operating this equipment, they may not be able to see you. Their vision may be blocked, in some shape, form, or fashion by the equipment they're in may not have a good field of vision. So they're relying on a lot of things. So make sure you stay out of their blind sights. And then make sure, and if you're being a spotter, make sure you stay in that vision with those guys. I wish I could give you a link, and I hadn't figured that out yet, but I'll work on giving you a link in these videos, in these live streams, so that you can reference what I'm talking about. But it's Middleclassbubba. Just go to Middleclassbubba. I have a weekly toolbox safety topic, and I bet there's hundreds of them, more than 100. I don't know how many, but I've been doing it for 5 or 6 years, trying to get out one video a week, and some of them repeat with new information, with better graphics and all that stuff. So anyway, watch out on the job site, watch your body language, and make sure that if you guys are going to have a lifting operation, make sure everyone understands all the standard hand operating, the hand signals. Make sure everybody is trained on those, so there's no miscommunications when you're doing that. Weather this week, let me pull that up. I think we're going to be hot and I think we're going to have some rain. Now, this is in the southeast region, and I concentrate in the Atlanta area. If someone gets on here and they have a different location, Knoxville, Asheville, I don't care, anywhere in the country, we can talk about the weather updates, or you can give a comment in here and post what the weather's going to be like in your area, so that you can give a heads up to people who are traveling to your area or people who are working in your area that day so they can prepare themselves. Oh, yeah. 96 in Atlanta today, boys and girls. It's going to be hot. Uh, and then it looks like there's a significant chance of rain for the balance of the week. Hell, way into next week. 7 days with probabilities from 40 to 80% chance of rain, or 30 to 80% chance of rain over the next 7 days starting tomorrow. But it's going to be a scorcher today, and then in the upper 80s and lower 90s for the balance of the week. So what we need to talk about at that point is how's that going to affect your work? How's that going to affect your job site safety? The most important thing I can suggest, and I do it all the time, is hydration and nutrition. Hydration and nutrition is the most important thing you can do to protect yourself against hot weather illnesses or heat related illnesses. Is hydration and nutrition. You know, and there's been some conflict. I've been studying this hydration lately because I'm a big believer in it. You do need to stay hydrated, but it's questionable of how much hydration you actually need. But if you're feeling thirsty, I still believe it's already too late. You need, excuse me, you need to be consuming water on a regular basis, especially as hot as it is. Uh, you know, probably at least 2 of these every day if it's in the 90s like they say it is, because you're going to put out some sweat, and that's going to dehydrate you. And along with that is nutrition. I see guys come rolling in and throwing out empty wrappers of them sweet buns and donuts and everything else. You need to really watch that stuff, because you need to have proteins and simple sugars, not that highly processed stuff, and reduce the carbohydrates and increase the protein. Make sure you're adequately hydrated. I need to drink right now. Make sure you stay adequately hydrated, and look out for your buddies too, because sometimes these young guys and that daggum energy drink stuff, y'all need to back off on those stuffs. Those Gatorades, those Monsters, there's a bunch of them out there. Rockstar, there's all kinds of stuff out there they try to say, and you know, it's no worse than coffee, I reckon, but you also need to, keep in mind how much coffee you drink. But here's the question for you. You think them old boys that jumping out of airplanes or flying them airplanes, how many of those cans of that juice that they're advertising you think they consume before they do those dangerous things, those operations? I bet it ain't a lot. They might enjoy one a day or something, but they trying to convince you need to have one in your hand at all times. That's by that fancy label and all that stuff. And I appreciate companies out there generating revenue, providing income to their stockholders, and making a profit and offering up jobs. I appreciate that. But you as an individual are responsible for maintaining your own health. Them old cats that selling that stuff, they don't care about your health. They just want you to rock and roll and buy their stuff from them so they can continue their business plan. Anyway, take care of yourself. Be careful what you put in your body. And be wary of people who want to sell you stuff. We talked about the crew communication. Let's we need to really keep encouraging each other through the day, because the grind can be rough, especially old boys having to dig out the footers for the concrete pour and all that, and they're handling all that stuff. Them guys who's hanging steel, man, it gets tough sometimes, and especially on a Monday morning after the 4th of July, keep an eye on them. You don't know what kind of party life they had. They could have had they could have had a family issue over the weekend. Somebody could have had a big fight with his wife, and she went home to mama and run off with the kids. Who knows? But as brothers and sisters on the job site, it's our responsibility to make sure that each of us are in good mental spirits and good physically to go to work and work throughout the day. And it's not being a snitch. It's not being, don't tell me what to do. It's about being a caring human being, number one. And number two, a coworker. So take that time and ensure that everybody's physically and mentally fit to perform the work. Now, sometimes they just need a break. Sometimes they just need a moment to gather their senses, and they'll come together a lot quicker if you offer words of encouragement, and offer them the things they need. If as you study and as you watch time, you can watch people. I've had an old boy, man. He had that daggum type 2 diabetes, on the verge of having to take shots. And every time I saw him, he was eating a honey bun and drinking a Coca-Cola. And I say, hey, brother, man. And I got to talking to him. I experienced the same kind of things at certain points in my life. And I got to talking to him about it. His feet were hurting so bad he could barely walk. That's what he said. And so when he would show up on the job site drinking that 5 teaspoons of sugar in his coffee and eating a honey bun, I would say, hey man, that ain't gonna help your feet feel no better. That myopathy or whatever they call it. And I said, eating 10 tortillas at lunchtime ain't gonna help either, man. Eating all that bread, you need to stick with some just simple sugars and like fruits and salads, those simple carbs and proteins, and drink more water, and watch what you put in your body. And he slowly came around, but he still struggled with it. Hell, we all struggle with it, man. They got that stuff so hyped up with sugar and fat, it's addictive. It ain't good for you. I mean, it's good. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy it. Yeah. I'm the worst one. I have to fight that battle every night. About midnight, I'm thinking, man, I go in there and get me a cookie and some milk, and I go, that just ain't good for me, and I got to quit doing that. So the struggle is real, and I understand it, and my concern is for you. So guys, watch your diet, man. We need you out there working every day. Your family needs you out there working every day. And we need you to be healthy and have a long life so you can enjoy the giggles of your grandchildren one day. I'm fixing to be a grandfather for the 4th time. And that's a real joy, and I want to see you be able to enjoy it the way I do. All right. That's enough on that. I always like to have a little joke. Anybody got a joke out there? Anybody got a joke? Let me look here. I want to see a. You know what I did? Oh, come on. I did pull up some stuff this morning. Some, and I'd like to give you one of these. And I know I concentrated on safety and all this stuff. But this one really is something that I believe in, and it says safety first and success follows. And that goes back to the processes and procedures that we talked about earlier. So be safe and success will follow. Let's see. Anybody know a good joke? Good joke. Construction worker jokes. Anybody got anything? There we go. There we go. Let's see. All right. Here's some. Why Hey, why did a construction worker bring a pencil to the job? He wanted to draw a line in the cement. Hey, listen. I carry a pen and a pencil every day, and I never know when I'm going to have to write something down. And people say, what about a pad? I used to carry a little pad, and now, more than anything, I carry this phone and got an old pencil that pops out of it, and I can make a note on this thing. But it's somebody can issue a instruction or need a piece of material, and somebody's got to go to the supply house and pick up tools or equipment or material. And there's a list of things, and if you don't have an ability to write that down, you're going to forget something, and then you're spinning your wheels. If the Home Depot's 20 minutes away, well, that's a 40-minute round trip. You can't get out of there in less than 20 minutes. So you're gone an hour, and you get back and realize you've forgotten something that somebody told you they needed. You got to turn around and go do it again. You just wasted an hour of your time and no telling how much production. So make sure you have something to write with. You can always find a scrap of cardboard. I've seen guys write it on their hand, but if you don't have anything to write with, you're a lost cause, brother. So make sure you have a way to make notes. Make sure you just got something to write with. It'll make you look more professional in the eyes of your coworkers, the eyes of your boss man, and the eyes of the general contractor. So make sure you keep something with you to write with all the times. Why do construction workers always carry a flashlight? He wanted to steal the spotlight. I don't understand that one. I'm just trying to be funny. If you got a good construction joke, hit me up, give me something, send me a message, and I'll use it next week, or I'll use it in some other cast. Anyway. I hadn't decided what toolbox safety topic I'm going to. Maybe I have. Hold on a minute. Oh, I just updated my drone license. Anybody need a drone pilot, let me know. I can come document your site. I can do some fly arounds, do some video. I can do some stills to update progress. I can do a lot of things with the drone. I just saw I'll show you. Oh. There we go. I don't know if you can read that or not. It may not even focus. But anyway, I spent a lot of. It started out as a interest. You know, I'm a general aviation pilot. I hadn't flown one in years, but you know, at one point it was on the bucket list, and I wanted to learn how to do it. And by golly, I did learn how to do it. Uh, anyway, picked up the drone habit and hadn't turned back. And you know, you can't use it commercially unless you have an FAA 107 Part 107 license, and all that does is describe to the powers that be that you have the requisite ability, training, knowledge to form operations of operating a drone and commercial airspace or civilian airspace. And so I went that direction. I got 2 or 3 of them old drones, and they're older drones. I may get a different one, but these do a good job for me. And I have done my fair share of screwing up. I've replaced drones, flown them, ran them out of battery. But anyway, this next week, I think, you know, you do all the fall protection, respiratory protection, focus 4, you do all those things, equipment inspections, and but now I'm looking at different things. But this week, I think I'm going to do something on sharp edges, nails, and hand impalements. You know, that happens all the time. You see guys on the job site all the time where they've injured their hands, or they've stepped on a nail. You see a pile of boards. You see one board laying in the pathway with the nails up, you know, and it's an oversight. Nobody would intentionally do that, but that's one of the things I think this week I'm going to talk about. Give me your opinion on that. Send me a text and let me know what you think about that. You know, sharp edges, nails, hand impalements, that kind of things. They're ever present on the job site, and sometimes we forget to pay attention to them. So make sure that we're in that zone, so to say. So that's what's coming on the channel this next week. You know, if guys, this ain't a money thing for me. I hadn't made any money on this YouTube business, and I've been doing it for, God almighty, 5-7 years, something like that. I do it because it's important to me, and it's important that give guys resources as they need them. I don't even know how. I think I got 618 subscribers on the channel, and it'll drop and it'll come back up. But if I can save, or one of those 618 people using the information that I provide can prevent one injury, can prevent one fatality, who can encourage somebody to be better than they are now and improve their skill sets in their life, I don't need a paycheck. I really don't. That's the most important thing to me. Is being a part of a young man's success story. And when he's an old man, maybe he'll look back and go, I remember that cat, man. He helped him, you know, give me a shout out, even though I'm long gone. And no marker, no nothing, probably just a gone guy. Anyway, make sure that, give me a shout out and check out the other channel. That leads me to the next segment. You know, every day you should wake up And the first thing you should do while you're brushing your teeth, combing your hair, fixing your lunch, you need to be thinking about all the reasons in this world that you should be grateful. Are you grateful you have a job? Are you grateful you have healthy children and smart children? Are you grateful that you have a wife, a partner that goes through life with you, and you're doing wonderful things with that? That's the first thing you should be thinking of, instead of the, oh God, I got to go to work. That if you got that, oh God, I got to do this thought first thing in the morning, then you're on the wrong path in life. I'll tell you that right now. You need to wake up and find a moment of gratitude for your health, your work, your coworkers, your spouse. Change your mindset. Wake up and set your mindset for the day, and do it every day. Maybe you need to write it down. I'm missing something behind me. It must have failed. Yeah. Mm. Mm. One small mindset tip for keep going through the day. You might be dirty and you might be tired and sore by the end of the week, but you're also building something real. You're building a future for yourself. You're building a future for your family. You're working for a company able to exercise your skill, promote yourself and others. So be grateful. Always, always be grateful for the things that you have. And when you're grateful, say your prayers. Your life will increase. Your satisfaction will increase. The light that shines out of you will increase, and you'll be a beacon to others. But it all starts with your mindset. And the best way to do that is to have a grateful attitude from the very moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed. Here's an example. My wife, she goes, how do you go to sleep like that? I'm like what? She goes, you say goodnight and you're asleep. I said, clear conscience makes a soft pillow. But in reality is that you can't drag the poo with you through your whole existence. It will drag you down. It will mess you up. So learn to turn it off. Learn to be great. If you're grateful, there is no softer pillow than being grateful for the things that you have in your life. It does something magical. It changes your mindset. It changes your outlook. It changes how people see you because you've changed yourself. So change yourself. Be grateful. All right. Whoa, we got about 20 minutes left. I just don't know if I got enough to talk about for 20 minutes. If somebody send me a comment or thumbs up, or here I go again. How many of these things have I done? I'd like to know. I bet I've done 20 of them. I don't think I've had one view yet. Nobody coming in on me, but I'm going to keep doing it. I want to be that guy in the morning that you like to listen to on Monday morning. That, hey man, come on, we gotta go. Scott's gonna be on the phone. I mean, on the radio here in a minute. What do you call this thing? Live stream in a minute. Come on, let's get in the truck. I'm gonna put him on the truck, and we can listen to him make a fool out of himself, and we can laugh at him. We can send him comments, and we can laugh and joke. I love laughing and joking, fellas. Ladies, if you're out there, I love laughing and joking. That's the greatest joy in life, and it sets the pace for the rest of the day. And that's why I do this thing on Monday mornings, and it only goes from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. Because at 6 a.m., there's a fella that helps keep me motivated, and his name is Mike Slater. And he's on the Sirius XM, I think it's channel 125. It's a Breitbart channel or one of those channels. Anyway, he has a segment, the first part of his show from 6 to 6:30, where people call in and say what they're grateful for. Now, I hadn't called in and told him what I'm grateful for, but it's always interesting and uplifting to hear what other people are grateful for. And they could be their wife or their children, or opportunities that they've had, or the people they've met that changed their life. It's really, I appreciate Mike getting up in the morning and doing that kind of thing. Who's got a birthday? Somebody in your crew got a birthday today? Wish them happy birthday. Wish them happy birthday. They need to hear that from people that, man, listen. Some of you guys spend at least 8 hours a day together. Some of you spending 12 hours a day together. Some of you probably spending more than that. If you ride to work together, you're spending a lot of time together. You need to have that camaraderie and the ability to say, happy birthday, man. How you feel being blah, blah, blah. So build that camaraderie together. I know you're having coffee together or a monster drink. I never did like those things. I mean, I understand they got them, boy, they got that thing blended up with that sugar and that caffeine. I'm sure it gives you a jolt. There used to be one called Jolt. And my kid in Durgum, grammar school or middle school, he would ask for that thing. He asked me for one of them one time. I said, no, you ain't. They already think you're ADHD, I ain't throwing fuel on the fire. They'll sure enough want to put you on that Adderall or whatever those drugs were. No. See, they advertising, these kids see it. They advertising on these games and everything else. And these young kids it's crazy. Anyway, I don't know where I was going with that, but it's still, I guess it's weighing on me, and I need to. Oh, I know something. Hey guys, I know something we could talk about. How about this new bill that they signed in Congress where they're talking about no tax on OT? What is that going to do for your life? You already think about that new bass boat, boys? You think about that new fishing rod? How about that new truck? You think about that new truck? I don't know about it. I don't let that kind of thing sway me. If I got, I don't make an income anymore. I'll get out and do some consulting work, and they pay my little old company a little bit of money, some pocket change is what I call it. But for you guys out there working, hey man, some of you guys are working almost as many hours a week on OT as you are on a regular. That's really going to be a boondoggle for some folks if what they say is true. No tax on OT. Now I don't know how it's going to work. I'll have to look that up for you. Is it going to be? Is it going to be no tax on OT? And that means that if you work 40 hours, they're going to tax you. And then say you work another 20 hours a week. Are they going to tax your regular wages of that? Say you make, just to keep it simple, say you make $20 an hour. I don't know. You might make more, you might make less. But in that second 20 hours, that 20 hours of overtime, are they going to tax that $20 an hour and not tax the $10 if you get time and a half or overtime, and not tax that 10? And that's $200 a week that you normally be taxed on at a pretty high rate if you're, working ample overtime. So it might save you a little bit of money. I don't know if you can afford a truck on it, but it might make you be able to save a little more money for your child's education, improve your home, have steak dinner every now and then, maybe take your wife out occasionally. That might be worthwhile. So that's one thing. So we talk about that OT. That'd be real nice for you, for the wage earner. I think that's pretty good. I don't know how generous it is, but it's got to be worth something to us, How about fuel prices? Anybody seen fuel prices going down? Hell, it seems to be stuck at $3 a gallon for me. I might have come down 10%. I think I have to go back and look at what the most I paid. I think it was, I don't know, $3.30, $3.60 a gallon is the highest I've ever paid for gasoline. And I buy the cheap stuff too, boy. Now, if I'm in a hurry, I don't care about price. If I'm running, getting close to empty, I ain't. But, I'll shop around. I'll try to put, good fuel in the truck, just a regular unleaded. It's I drive Ford, that EcoBoost engine. I'll brag on it. Now I bragged on it, it'd probably give me trouble, but it's been a real good engine. Do regular maintenance on it. I went and put new tires on it. And I had them brakes put on. And I had 70,000 miles. I got some good tires on it the time before the ones I got right now. I put some good tires on it, some heavy ply tires. 70,000 mile tires, and I got every bit of that 70,000 out of them things. Rotate them every time I got the oil change, just rotate tires. And I got brakes put on it at that time too. And it was, I think it was 120,000 miles I had them tires and brakes put on it. And I just got some new tires on it. And I said, well, I had to replace the tire pressure sensors on it. Those TPSs, it let you know. I got tired of looking at that light. So when I changed out tires, I told them to just go ahead and replace all those tire pressure sensors on it, so I have to stare at that darn light. And I said, put some brakes on it too if it needs it. He said, when I went to pick it up, he says, I couldn't bring myself to put new brakes on that thing. You still got 50%. So that tells you about my driving habits. And it agitates my wife. She'll ride with me. She says, why are you going so slow? I said, I'm going the speed limit. I'm going 10 miles over the speed limit. She said, well, these folks is passing you. I said, well, let them pass me. Now we get on these old curvy mountain roads up here in the heart of southern Appalachia. I'll be driving the speed limit. She'll be going, slow down, slow down. I said, daggum, woman. When I'm on the highway, you telling me to speed up, and I'm already speeding. And when we're on these roads, you're telling me to slow down when I'm doing the speed limit. Humor, ain't it? Your wife like that? Anybody else got one of them? Matter of fact, I don't know how I got anywhere before I got married. I have no idea how I got from point A to point B. Someone told me when to brake, watch out, got to make a right. Hey, turn here, slow down, speed up. Mm-mm. No wonder most men drive around confused. Good Lord, I'm glad I don't have to work with mine. Love is a splendid thing. Yeah, still, I know viewers, man, I tell you what, I'm sitting here, I'm going to keep doing it. I don't care. I don't care. I'm going to keep doing it. I'll just satisfy myself. Maybe one of these days my grandchildren look at this and go, man, he was a darn fool. He's crazy. He's out there trying to do this and nobody ever paid any attention to him. Well, you're looking at me now, ain't you, youngin'? So I'm going to keep doing it. I don't care. You know who I am. You're going to know me. If you ever tune in, you'll know who I am. And if you do tune in and perchance we meet each other in the street, you're going to know who you're dealing with. And that's going to be an exciting moment for you and me. Man, we got 8 minutes left. I wish I had something. I'm running out of things to say. I wish somebody throw me a comment. Hey, you dummy. I guess we could talk about the traffic's probably going to be bad today, boys and girls. Full of cranky people, had too much celebration and not enough rest, and having to traverse, who knows, 100 miles, 200 miles, 300 miles, 400 miles, and be sitting in traffic and get angry. And you're going to be in traffic probably somewhere today because somebody got angry at somebody else and they got an altercation and a little road rage, and all of a sudden you got an accident. You know, I've sat in them darn old traffic jams and sat there and looked at it and did time on it and tried to get a count on the number of cars, trucks in that traffic. And you get up there and they some old dummy who run out of gas in the darn middle lane on an interstate highway and has got traffic blocked up for 10 miles. 10 miles, thousands of cars and trucks, thousands of gallons of fuel going to waste, thousands of man hours being wasted, all because they didn't pull in somewhere and buy fuel. That's inconsiderate, and you ought not be that way. You ought to be paying attention to your life and taking care of business, because if you get in a situation like that, you wasted sometimes more man hours than you have left in life, and you have taken that away. You've taken that amount of life from others. Is that fair? Because of your inability, or you get in a road rage, you get angry and create an accident and shut down 3 lanes of highway, or you're not paying attention and you merge into a 18-wheeler and he does everything he can and scatters crap all over the highway, and he's standing there rubbing his head and he says, I'm just trying to make a living. And him and 10,000 other vehicles behind you. Pay attention. Pay attention to what you're doing. Pay attention to your vehicle. Make sure it's in good mechanical order. Don't get angry. It ain't gonna last that long. Whatever fool is somebody messing with you, let them go on and mess with somebody else. Let them feel like they're the king of the world. It don't matter. It don't matter. You don't want to be the person that causes an accident that robs 10,000 people of their life. A portion. You got 10,000 people. I mean, And the trucking, those guys are carrying loads of fuel, food, and you're delaying those deliveries because you decided you was going to have a confrontation with somebody who looked at you wrong, or maybe made an accident, merged over and almost hit you, and all of a sudden you get mad because you hyped up on a Monster drink. And y'all get tangled up and cause an accident, and there you go. You've wasted time in your life. You've gotten angry, which is not good for you in your health or mental or anything else. And then you've blown out all them people behind you with things they were doing. You're making more people angry because they sitting behind you. I think if you cause an accident, people that ride by you ought to be able to roll down their window and tell you what a fool you are. Now, I hope you don't get injured. I don't want to see nobody hurt. I don't want to see that. But you ought to be you need to be talked to if you cause an accident out of stupidity, or you caused a backup out of stupidity. I think somebody ought to say, I think everybody drives by you ought to have the right. You dummy, you're supposed to buy fuel. I always roll by and say, man, you're not supposed to park there, be ramped up against a wall. The old lady's standing there in her pretty pinks and all that stuff, like she's going to the beach, and she thought she owned the world and wrecked up. And I was like, I fuck you. Don't make me mad. You the one stuck. I was mad until I got up here and got to say something to you. I imagine if you got said something to by about 4,000 or 5,000 people that you held up, and they rolled down their window and told you something, you less likely to do that again. I would just imagine that's the case. So be careful out there on the road. Don't let these folks upset you. They just unfocused. They ain't got no purpose. They got a purpose and they ain't paying attention. I don't know what it is, but don't get caught in that darn trap of anger and retaliation and all that. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. Just relax, drink your coffee, call your contractor, tell him you got held up in traffic. That's important because he's looking for you. It's better to call him first than have him call you because of your boss man. It's better to call him and let him know than to have the contractor call him wanting to know where you're at and getting him all riled up. It's better just say, hey man, there's an accident over here. They got us bound up, and it's probably going to be an hour and a half before we get there. And we already been in it an hour. We'd have been a half hour early, but now we're going to be an hour and a half late because of some fool out here. And your boss man, he can't get on. He can't get too upset if you're doing that. And when the client calls, he can say, "Yeah, man," or he called the client first. Say, "Hey, man, guys got delayed. They were going to be there 30 minutes early, and now they're going to be an hour late because of this traffic over there on 285. I done checked it on the radar, and yes, there's a big accident over there, and they just gonna be late." And it just makes for a better relationships all around. You stay proactive. Let everybody else act. Let everybody else be reactive. But you be in charge. You be proactive. Be proactive, and it'll make your life a lot better when you're in charge versus letting somebody. If somebody makes you angry, you ain't in charge, they are. And with that, I'm going to sign off. If y'all scroll through here, say hi, leave me a message, something, check out the other channel. Anyway, as always, until we see each other.